It is showtime. We are live. You are live, Jelly Beans.
It is official. We are live.
We are on the tube and the book and everywhere.
Let's see if it's up. There's my notification there.
I see a bunch of green check marks.
Yes. I'm just
Yay!
going to my. I just got my notification that Debra's live, that I'm live.
And Debra is with Destiny tonight. Destiny has come to spend some time with Miss Debra and be given some love and light and healing. So she is currently giving her some extra attention and trying to help integrate her slowly into the pack. So she won't be with us tonight. So anybody who knows Deb, who knows her rescue, who knows the love that we all have for animals, please, please, please be sending some extra love and light out to Deb and to a new little rescue named Destiny, who made her way to their property this past weekend. And I believe, personally, I believe that one of her pack's members that had passed not too long ago was part of Destiny's destiny in finding her way there. But that's my personal belief.
Well, Destiny, there's no accident with the name, right? Even though Deb swore she was not taking another rescue, we both knew.
We always knew. We always knew. Her heart is always. Come on, her heart will always grow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sizes bigger if it needs to.
But if you notice, since we've known her, besides Nanook, no other, besides the cats on her property, no other dogs have found their way to her. But after the loss,
well, she found the property, and the property led her to Chester.
Yes. Ooh, whoa! Yay! Tina's here.
Yay!
Tina had texted me earlier and said that she was going to try to be here. Our good friend Tina.
Yay! Welcome. I apologize. I am trying to keep up with the flow of things, so I'm probably not going to be messaging through my page. My phone's kind of tucked away right now. I need to kind of focus. For those of you that aren't aware, I've been kind of going through some things and kind of narrowing in on a diagnosis of a particular type of migraine that causes some different effects and things with memory and focus and things like that. So I am on day 4 or 5 of being on steroids. Yay! Steroids!
Yeah. Steroids are a good time. Let me just tell you, me and steroids have had a time together, and they are not fun. Nothing like a little bit of mood swings mixed in with extreme hunger, and
I really actually haven't been. Well, that's funny because the other treatment that I'm on, he told me would probably suppress my appetite.
Oh, maybe that counteract. Well, I always found the hungry horrors did not set in until like day 2 or 3 of being on steroids. But if you get leg cramps, and this is just for anyone, just because I was
eat
on
bananas every morning.
It's potassium. You have to eat bananas.
I eat bananas every morning. So
yeah, that's and I just know for myself, I used to have to take it with milk. So it used to give me really bad heartburn if I did not.
And anyways, that's just I'll be I've been really trying to, like yesterday I spent a lot of time going through my apothecary cabinet, and I literally took everything that I have and I made a reference guide for myself of everything that I do have in my apothecary cabinet and broke it down to herbalistic healing properties as well as magical properties. And I think took me hours and hours and hours to do. But the good news is it's done. And now I am probably 60 to 7% done with all of my crystals.
So in the description box below, and thank you, John Aside, remember to like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, make sure all notifications on. But in the description box is how you can contact us at the Wisdom of Three Behind the Veil, blah, 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 Gmail. But also Carrie and Deb's own website informations are now in the description box so that you can bypass the Wisdom of Three if you want. And it's Carrie's new website that she has up.
And this Friday, Goddess is willing. I don't have technical difficulties. This Friday, Goddess is willing. Gods and goddesses, I'll give gods credits too. I am planning on doing a live from my Facebook, my Readings with Carrie Lynn Facebook, to start highlighting some of the inventory that I've been working on and the items that I have for sale. I am in the process of preparing for a couple of vending events, and therefore I've been working very diligently in preparation for that and getting inventory up and stocking up and stuff, and working and crafting and working my magic
And organizing.
lots of organizing. But in all that, guess what, guys? I still have all sorts of awesome information about the triple goddesses that we're going to learn about tonight.
So even though tonight's topic is triple goddesses, we have to at least mention that it's the Lionsgate portal, right?
It is
That
Lionsgate
portal today.
It's open today
So,
through the 12th.
What?
Through the 12th.
Yes. And this is a super powerful time. This is a time for transformation, magic, manifestation, all that good stuff. So take advantage of that energy because this is a very magical time. And it's funny because every year I have done like a big meditation, except for this year I didn't get a chance to, did a big meditation with a big spread for the Lionsgate portal. This year I did not get the chance, but I did pull a card around it from my quantum oracle, and I got transformation, which is number 5. So you're in the middle of a cycle, and it's like, are you going to shed this coat, walk across that bridge, and take a leap of faith? This is the time. If there's something you're thinking about doing, it now is the time.
Press in and do it.
Yes. Yep. The gate is awesome. Sometimes
it can be a little intimidating, maybe a good way to put it. It can be a little intimidating, but it is, if you embrace it, if you set your intentions, if you work your magic, if you have your protections in place, it can be a really, really, really awesome time. So who wants to learn about triple goddesses tonight? Who's excited to learn about triple goddesses? Oh.
Yeah, the energy is really strong, Mary. So that could be
very, very.
So I would suggest, besides some Excedrin, ground and centering yourself, and just try to just pull your, when energy gets like overwhelming, just pull your aura in tight, picture it with white light, and hold it close to your body so you're not taking it so much in. That usually helps. That's how I protect myself before I go out.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Triple goddesses, what do you want to know? I know Deb's not here, so there's just Carrie and I tonight, but she is doing her life.
She's doing her goddess work.
Oh, hey, Miss John Aside.
Yay. Okay.
So I'm going to mute myself while you do your...
Okay. So, the triple goddess, it embraces the maiden, the mother, and the crone, which can be reflective of 3 different phases of the journey that a woman might go through in her life. As a young woman, we're typically a virgin, we're typically the maiden, we're in a more pure state. So it is with the young goddess. They're in the early phases of their development, and it is during that time that they start to be groomed for the fates that lay ahead of them. They may, and they should be practicing their craft and ability. Should be mastering certain parts of what will be her calling. As she blossoms and grows into a woman of childbearing age, this is where they typically enter motherhood and are represented as a mother. And this is a time where the skills are adapted, knowledge is available, experience, there's gifts of nurturing, or at least you would hope as a mother she might be nurturing. However, we shall see. For the goddess, this is a season in their journey where they are bearing the fruits of their labor, their gifts, their destinies, their callings. This is a time when either they're bringing forth future gods and goddesses from their loins, or they're bringing forth prosperity, fruit, harvest in the land, sea, sky, or wherever it is that they've been placed charge over. And then as each woman gets older, we may get some grays. We may see some signs of aging, lines and crows. And that's usually what would be contributed to being the crone. A crone is wise. A crone has had years of experience. She has lived her life. She has not only gained wisdom from herself, but she's gained wisdom from cultures and tribes that have been around her. She's lived, she's tasted, she's experienced ages and ages sometimes of history. Therefore, she's able to take that information, that knowledge, and instruct, teach, and even warn other generations about the road that lays ahead. The crone is the wise one, the holder of knowledge, the seer of all. She is to be respected, honored, and revered for her knowledge, experience, and for having lived her life according to her calling. The difference when we are referring to the triple goddess in the purest and most spiritual way possible is that we must remember that she is eternal while always remaining in a state of fluctuation. Only her phases and her names, just as the phases of the moon, are what's changing. That is why she is typically represented by the triple moon, the waxing crescent, the full, and the waning crescent, all conjoined together, representing the maiden face, the mother face, and her crone face. Just because a different face or phase is shown in each cycle, she still remains the same. Always the maiden, always the mother, and always the crone. Always the one that bursts all things into the cycle and ends the cycle by devouring it. Then once again starts a cycle anew. This evening, we are going to take some time and learn about several of the goddesses that are known to have embodied the status of the triple goddess. It is a privilege and an honor to be able to share with you this information. I would invite you to take note which stories strike a chord within you. I would encourage you to make note of the names that resonate and vibrate within your soul, spirit, ears, or energy field. If, as you are listening at a certain point this evening, you feel as if you are not alone, listen, pay attention to what information is being shared in that moment. Write it down, write down the name, write something down to keep it close to you. Who is it that's revealing themselves to you in that moment? What stage is she approaching you in? Later this evening, I would then encourage you to sit in meditation. Maybe even light a candle or a single lamp if you can't burn a candle, because I know some places you can't burn candles. So I don't discriminate. Use a lamp, single lamp, in place of a candle with the right intention. Invite her in. Listen to her story replay in your mind. Ask her what lesson she has for you at this time. Ask her to make herself known to you and ask her why it is that she's coming forth in this hour and this time. You can ask her permission to commune with her again. You can ask her to keep watch if that's for the highest and best of you. You can let her know that you are ready to build a connection or that you need more time. That's okay as well. But be in tune with the message, insight, and what information is coming forth. You and you alone will know if now is the time to build a relationship or if now is just a moment of a message. Remember, too, that she may be appearing to you tonight in one form, but may come back in another. When you are finished, extinguish the candle or dim the lamp and thank her and release her. The story of the three colors of the triple goddess and the sister goddesses that represent them. Often there are three traditional colors associated with the triple goddess, especially in the Celtic tradition. White for the maiden, red for the mother, and black for the crone. The Celtic triple goddess that was credited for rising out of the Western Sea and landing on a barren and destitute land were known as Bofind, Bo-Rhoda, and Bo-Du. These three sisters are said to have brought fertility and magic to the barren land, which is now the rich and beautiful Ireland. They are credited with each moving to a specific section of Ireland where their fertility magic encompassed the land before they returned to the Western Sea once their work was completed. Bofind is actually translated white cow, inhabited Central Ireland, where she birthed twin calves. They are actually said to continue to feed the people today. This place is actually what became known as Tara. Bo-Rhoda, translated red cow, brought fertility to Northern Ireland, while Bo-Du, translated black cow, brought fertility to Southern Ireland. Together, they created the beauty and magic that was and is still today Ireland. A little bit darker, three sisters, the triple goddesses of war. We have Bove, also known as Raven. She is the first of three aspects of the goddess of war. She was known to shapeshift from a young maiden into a raven and fly over the battles, screaming her call, which would incite the warriors to mightier and braver deeds. Her shape-shifting abilities allowed her to present as a raven, a crow, a beautiful young woman, or a hideous old hag. Certain practitioners of magic would caution one from working with both. However, each person is allowed to call upon and work with any deity they feel drawn to. A word of wisdom for anyone who does choose to work with any deity: always, always, always set your intention in advance, and always set the intention that whatever work you are doing will be for the highest and best with harm to none. Maka. I have personally worked with Maka. Many of my tradition do work with Maka. Maka translates as a pasture. She is the second of the three aspects of the goddess of war. Maka is associated with twins, horses, earth energies, and fertility. One legend has it that Maka could run so fast that she could outrun any horse, and while she was pregnant with twins, her husband and the soldiers forced her to race against King Concholar's horses. She actually won the race. As she crossed the finish line, she birthed her twins. It is believed that Maka was actually of the Tuatha De Danann and the wife of Nimhita, the third invader of Ireland. Therefore, she is closely connected to the sovereignty of the land. One who works with Maka has a very specific goal and focus for the work they are about to do. They are calling upon her vigor, stamina, speed, agility, and warrior characteristics to complete the task. The Morrigan, known as the Phantom Queen or the Great Queen, is the third aspect of the warrior goddess. Morrigan was known as the washer at the ford and known for appearing to warriors at the water's way, washing blood-stained clothes. At the Battle of Motoya, the Dagda, the good god, known as the father of gods and goddesses in the Irish pantheon, encounters her, and it is here that she delivers a prophecy on the fate of humankind and the world. She is associated with war, grief, mutilation, shape-shifting. And as all three warriors and aspects of the maiden, mother, and crone, she is also associated with sexual gratification. Three sisters, triple goddesses representing three Sabbats. Laterian was the youngest sister, who is known to have represented Lunasa, the first harvest, and is said to have carried and tended to fire. Legend has it that she was tending to the fire for the first harvest in a field and caught fire, and at the place where she caught fire, she melted into a heart-shaped stone. She can be worked with for seasonal rites for the harvest, as well as fire magic. Bowie was the middle sister, and her name is actually translated to yellow-haired girl. She represents Beltane, the coming of summer, the return of longer days, and you can work with her around Beltane rites, flower festivals, and to bless your spring planting. The third sister, Lasir, goddess of midsummer, translated flame, can be worked with for summer ritual and summer seasonal rites. So right now is a good time to continue to work with Lasir as we're still in the summer. A few honorable mentions in independent phases. We have a maiden named Calaberry. She was a fae. She shapeshifted into a crane to rise up and above Ireland. She was known to be able to predict storms. She's also credited with building the Irish mountains as a respite for the crone. Calleberry is the divinity of spring. She is a guardian of animals and overseer of the hunt. She can be called upon to work animal magic as well as eco magic. A story of a crone, Cailleach. She is the Samhain goddess. Translated, old woman. Many modern day Halloween witches, unfortunately, have tainted her appearance when they are portraying the modern day witches now. They're actually portraying the crone Cailleach. She is actually thought to have lived and had 7 active cycles. Cailleach is one to work with for wisdom, seasonal rites, as well as weather magic. Another crone, Cavavogue, said to have been turned into a snake, and is known as the Celtic Eve. Myth has it that St. Patrick killed her with holy water, but you cannot keep a good goddess down. Caravog represents self-acceptance and responsibility. Work with her for seasonal rites and in magic to learn self-responsibility when you're facing challenges and changes. Now we're going to review a few goddesses that are actually triple goddesses represented as 3 in 1, meaning that these goddesses in myth and lore actually throughout each phase are interconnected as being one goddess, and her life story transitioned and flowed from being the maiden to the mother to the crone. So we have Dana, initially thought to be the daughter of Beltane and Dogma. Celtic paganism belief leans more towards the concept that Dana was actually the first great mother goddess of Ireland. In her 3 forms, she holds 3 names, 3 faces, 3 phases of the triple goddess. As the maiden, she is Danu, with the root Dan meaning knowledge. As the mother, she is Bridget, who, with the indoctrination of Christianity, became Saint Bridget. Then as the crone, she is Bod. Dana is a beautiful goddess to work with in any and all of her forms. The goddess of flame, fire, hearth, home, new beginnings, healing. We often celebrate her and recognize her at the Sabbath in bulk. You can work with her for help in achieving anything you desire, as she is strong in her association with manifestation, fire, crafting, fertility, magic, healing, inspiration, sovereignty, and creativity. Destry, triplicity onto herself, maiden, mother, and crone. If you remember, we mentioned the myth last week where she drank a mayflower and birthed the god Lu by vomiting him up. Well, she is described as being a woman of large proportions, meaning she shared the attributes of a mother and fertility goddess. If you think about Greek mythology, if you think about any of the statues and things that may be found in tombs and things like that, when they are predicting and they are portraying goddesses and women, they are making them of large proportion because they were able to be bountiful and they were able to be mothers and they had to have wide hips and big bosoms. So it was known to be of large proportion. She is known to have had the ability to transform herself and her entire entourage, not just herself, but everybody that she wanted to take with her, into birds for swift travel to and from the other worlds. It is also said that when they traveled, wherever they landed to feed, they would leave that place completely destitute and barren, as they would devour everything. Remember, a part of the cycle is that the crone will devour and put an end to the cycle so that a new cycle might begin. Fiangola, translated one of fair cheeks. She was placed under a spell by Amarok, an Ulster druidess, when she was very young. She was placed under the spell, particularly so that she could not grow a day older. From the moment the spell was placed on her and the vow was made, she stopped aging. So therefore, she was known as the ageless triple goddess, as well as the regional triple goddess. The vow that was received as part of the spell was that Fiongala could not age a day until a man presented her with 3 very specific items. Each of the items was significant of a seasonal Sabbath, as well as a requirement to break the spell. The story goes that in order for the man to break the spell, he must present her with yew berries, representative of Samhain, holly bough, representative of Yule, and a bouquet of marigolds from a magical spot, which represents midsummer. The story goes on to say that one special man was able to break the spell by acquiring all of these items and bringing them to her. You also can work with her for seasonal rites, especially around each of these Sabbaths. But be sure to bring her required items to evoke her presence. And that, my friends, is an introduction to the triple goddesses, the triple goddess as a whole, and several of the goddesses that represent the sanctity and sovereignty and mystery of the triple goddesses. Comments, thoughts, conversation.
I think the last one got gypped. If I'm going to get gifts, I want something sparkly. Just saying.
But honey, you're a princess.
But technically, I'm a goddess too, because God knows I got the.
You are a goddess too. Yes. You are a goddess too, but you're a princess.
I might be a princess, but I'm telling you, if someone's coming to present me with something, I want something sparkly, not something I'm going to kill.
You know, we don't know what jewels and items were, draped over the yew boughs. The yew boughs could have been draped in diamonds and sapphires and
emeralds.
And emeralds.
You would think emeralds.
Especially, my focus, and so everybody also knows in the conversation, my focus in going through a lot of this is I've been focusing more on the Irish and the Celtic myths and legends and pantheon versus trying to bring pieces in from every single culture right now, because that would just become a lot. So I have in the conversations that we've had last week and this week, the focus has been, and the information that I'm pulling from has been primarily in that divinity area. So we're looking at things that, anybody that came out of Ireland, anybody that came out of what was known as the Celts and the Celtic pantheon, which, Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales, kind of in that area. While I'm not necessarily going into so much of the Welsh history, because there is a little bit of a differentiation there too.
So you had said to write down any names that jumped out to you,
Yes.
or you felt drawn to, and for me it was Raven, goddess of the first goddess of war. That was the only one that, and I kind of like the 3-in-1 goddess. I like the big bang for my buck. Just saying.
Well, and I was able, and we highlighted 3. We highlighted 3 different ones that are 3-in-1. I did find it very interesting in going deeper with Destry to this week, where because in studying and learning and understanding how a cycle is set up and how the cycle is set to kind of, it has to end in order for it to restart. So it was very interesting to me that concept of, in the triple goddess, the crone is actually the one that's actually responsible for making the decision as to when it's final. Like, she gets to say, enough is enough. This is it. I'm devouring everything. I'm making this land destitute, barren. There will be no more. Goes in, cleans house, cleans it out, boom. And then it's ready for the new cycle. It's ready for the maiden to go in and start to do the work and learn the arts and grow and step into her own and figure things out, and then start to nurture and grow and feed into it. Michelle liked Kaliak.
I'll never be able to say any of these names, but Raven, yeah, that's the one I like too.
What about anybody else? Anybody else want to say who?
Oh, so SG liked. You can say that name.
Maka. I like Maka too. I work with Maka. I actually wrote a invocation for her a while ago that was published in our Cabot newsletter.
Full disclosure, I don't really know much about goddesses like Carrie does. No, I'm just so that people know, like, I know of goddesses, but like the lore and their stories, I know really nothing about. But so it's been interesting to hear. Even though I think I got my lineage does go back to Ireland, I think on my mom's dad's side somewhere. I don't know. I feel like the Portuguese and the Italian kind of take over, and the Irish part of me doesn't really, if it exists, it gets pushed out by the other two.
Well, I am Irish, English, Scottish, Portuguese. I'm a mutt.
Well, we're all
But
mutts at the end of the
we're all
day.
mutts. If we want to be completely honest, we're all mutts. I'm an American. That's all that matters, right? But in complete transparency, as far back as I can remember. Oh, thank you, Mary. Any time that I have gone into meditation and I've gone into my sacred space and I've gone into deep meditative work, I have often been drawn back in time, back multiple cycles to a land. I'm not going to say, yes, it was Ireland or yes, it was Scotland, but it's in that region. It's in that Celtic region. And I was a part of, and I was witness to what I would call the rites of seven sisters. It's the best way I can describe it, where I literally witness an active ritual taking place with seven women, all in royal purple robes, and a fire. And there's definitely goddesses and gods and ancestors and angels and others that are taking part and witnessing what's transpiring. So for me, being able, like, having gone back to that moment as part of one of my very first meditative cycles, it's kind of been what opened the doors for me in working with and trying to learn and understand. Now, full transparency, I'm focusing in a lot on the Celtic pantheon and stuff like that in what we've been talking about. Me personally, I also have a very strong infinity and working with Isis, who is an Egyptian goddess. And so I have a very strong connection with Isis as well. As a matter of fact, Jill and I went to Salem.
You're reading my friggin' mind.
We went to Salem for our Samhain, and I actually dressed as Isis because I have a very strong infinity with her. And this past weekend, I was in Woonsocket for the 1-year anniversary for Mavis Cottage, where I was doing oracle and mediumship readings, and there was another woman that was doing aura photography, and so we traded, and she did my picture, and in my picture she could see Archangel.
Was it your rainbow wings?
She goes, "You are so open right now. If I didn't know that you were doing readings, I'd be like, girl." She goes, "But I know you've been doing reading." She goes, "Wait, right next to me, and in connection with my third eye was Archangel Metatron. And then to the side of him was a very strong goddess energy. And as soon as she said goddess energy and I said Isis, she goes, "Yep, most definitely." So, like, that's how it is.
That was so, yes, Carrie and I actually dressed up like goddesses in 2021. I was a generic goddess at the time. But yeah, she was Isis with the best wings ever. That lit up. We should try to see if we can post those pictures on here. That was it was an interesting night. It was one of those. It was awesome. Carrie's boyfriend gave her the tickets as a gift, but we both said one and done. We got good swag bags though. Remember, the swag bag was worth it standing in the pouring rain.
Oh my gosh, it
Yeah.
buckets and buckets that night. But it
And
was,
of course, it started like it stopped until like we had to wait and cross a stupid street, and it was just torrential downpours. And I felt bad for some of these girls that were like sexy goddesses that were just drenched. I mean, I was, I had a cape, but it wasn't a cape for
Freya's a
rain.
good. John aside says he's drawn to Freya and the Morgan. Freya is another really good one. Hey, actually, I have not narrowed in on next week's topic. So why don't we got like 13 minutes left. Let's throw out some names, guys. Throw out some names in the next 10 minutes, and we will.
Well, why don't you tell us more? Do some stuff about ISIS.
You want me to? I can do ISIS next week.
Oh, Michelle just put in one that I won't be able to say the name.
Odin.
You mean the father of Thor? Mm-hmm. That's the only place I know that name from is from the Marvel movies. See, that's how much I know.
Mary, we had a really, really awesome time. It was a lot.
It was the first time they did it after the pandemic. Remember?
Yeah, the first time they had done it since the pandemic. So you had, and anytime you go into Salem at Samhain, the energy is whoa. And then you had, not only was it Samhain, Salem, but it was the first get together and gathering since the pandemic. So it just intensified all of that energy.
We stayed out of the main ballroom after the opening ceremony. We stayed out of the main ballroom. Remember, we couldn't even. We were looking at it through So anyone that's local, they'll know the lore of the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem. But you could go up a floor and see into it, and we just looked at it and we're like, yeah, no, I mean, there was plenty of other things for us to do. We did some really cool stuff that night, but yeah, we were just like, the energy was just, people were just off, and it was also open to the general public too.
It is. It's always it's always open. So you've got the gawkers, you've got the skeptics. I think that was the interesting part too. Was so you not only do you get the skeptics and the spectators that are there that pay the ticket to get in, but then because it's the Hawthorne Hotel, you have people that actually go and stay at the Hawthorne to be guests at the Hawthorne to watch what's going to happen, and people watch. So we're standing in line to go in, and you've got people who are gawking at you and looking at you. Then you got people going, "Oh, is she a witch? Is she really a witch? Is she really
taking pictures?"
And they don't even realize that they're projecting that, and you know what they're thinking.
That was, and I remember like being on the dance floor because they had this awesome belly dancer that was part of the opening ceremony.
Oh yeah,
and like already I was like, creeper, they have no idea like what this is all about. And then there was someone dressed as Gumby too. I'm like, clearly they didn't get the memo what the theme was of the witch's ball, but it was definitely an experience. I
It's
mean, like
amazing.
people were like, there
Christian
was like
Day,
a
yeah, Brian Kane and Christian, they do an amazing job. They really do. They
just
put their
don't piss
heart
them
and
off.
soul into it.
Don't piss
Huh?
them off though. We got front row seats to that.
But they're, I mean, they are amazing people, and they work hard for the community, and they do a lot for not just for Salem, but also for New Orleans and the community as a whole. But it takes a lot of energy to do anything like that, and to put that together
Oh,
and pull it together.
yes.
And, you know,
Because there's readers there. I mean, like there was a whole room where you could get your cards read. We did the seance downstairs where, yes, my Italian grandmother came through, not once, not twice, but I think 3 times, Carrie, she came through.
3 times a
Isn't that
lady.
crazy? She was,
3 times
and I
a
remember,
lady.
and the woman was lovely, the medium that was doing it. And we went up to thank her afterwards. And I said to her, I'm like, I'm surprised my grandmother was so mellow. She's like, oh no, she wasn't. I'm like, okay, good, because that's not my
She
grandmother.
toned her down.
And just because you don't know.
Mary's asking how, from where I live, Salem's about 2.5 hours, depending on traffic.
For me, it's like 20 minutes. And you would love Salem. Salem is a great place, especially in the fall, to just walk around. There is so much outside of the paranormal and all that. It is just a beautiful place to walk around,
It's
and there's
absolutely
endless
gorgeous. I love it
stores.
any time of year.
Yeah.
I'm up there. I'm typically up there 8 times a year.
Yeah, Yoon's like, it's 8 hours. Like, no,
18 hours away, I think.
no, they were asking us how far we're from it. I mean, the traffic, I mean, during the month of October, don't even try to drive through Salem. I made that mistake last year having to go to a football game. I was like, ugh.
I went last October. I went for the parade, the Haunting Happenings parade, because we were celebrating Reverend Mother Lori Cabot for having founded it, and it was a huge deal. Like, you know, there was reverence and honor being given to her for having founded the Haunted Happenings, and her big birthday was coming up and things like that. So I actually went up there for the parade, and I left really early, and I went and I thought, okay, I'm gonna park where we're supposed to meet. Well, I went to go park where we were supposed to meet, but it was a business, and I got told I couldn't park there. I think they thought I was a tourist, because other people ended up parking there.
Remember the night that we went there, we took a chance. Remember, we were going to take the train, and we just ended up, I swear to God, talk about the goddesses being on our side that night, because luckily Carrie's got a small car. We hit no traffic until we got to the block of Salem, which is going to have traffic. And we had a lovely parking attendant that ended up letting us park at the Hawthorne Hotel. And we gave her a generous tip. We ate dinner in the car just waiting. And it was like, talk about the stars aligning for us, because if we had to park anywhere else and then walk, it would have been not good. And I wasn't glitter heels. I committed to the heels that night, just saying, to be part of my costume. But it was all good. Oh, it is, like, it's really worth it. I mean, October is, of course, fantastic to visit there. Just don't go to the stupid haunted houses. Don't waste your money. One of the first years we went, just dressed up.
The walking tours are really cool.
The walking tours are awesome, but the haunted houses are so bad. Like, I'm not a big fan of haunted houses anyways, but it's like, I had a guy, as we're leaving the stupid haunted house, he's yelling in my ear still behind me. And I looked at him and went, dude, it's fucking over. Get out of my face. Like, I'm on the street, man. You weren't worth the $15. But yeah, the walking tours, and they do like the cemeteries. They do a hayride through the cemeteries, I think.
There's a lot of really awesome opportunities and great things.
Yeah. In October,
because of everything that I just went through, I was supposed to actually be up there for an entire weekend, for Lunasa, and I had to cancel my hotel. I had to, I canceled my entire trip, and I was pretty bummed out about that, but it's okay. It's okay. Because I'll just be able to plan another one at another time.
Yes, ma'am. So we're at just about the top of the hour. So do you want to pull a card for the collective for tonight? Wrap it up.
How
Unless
about
there's any
you?
other questions about goddesses. So do you want to do the one Michelle for next week? You want to do the one Michelle wanted on?
She actually was repeating what Jonaside had said about Odin. She
Oh,
was saying that Jonaside had mentioned Odin. I have my goddess oracle tech here. Goddess.
I got the same one.
Yeah. Doo-doo-doo.
Or if you wanted to look at Isis, because that is who you're drawn to, and you know her well.
I will do Isis. I will actually do the Isis meditation too. How's that sound, everybody? You want to do an Isis? Everybody want to meet Isis? I will bring you into a meditative place. We will go into the pyramids, and we will meet Isis. How's that sound?
John. Wise ass. So I'm going to pull from my goddess power since you're doing your goddess oracle. Because I got that same deck too as well.
And for anybody that is on my Facebook and has been following me on Facebook and my YouTube, I apologize. I didn't post anything today. I really kind of got wrapped up with everything else.
It's so funny. I got the same goddess that I got last week. I said it right last week. Persephone. What's her name? I said it right last week. Persephone. Thank you. And experience, which is funny because I got her last week too, when I pulled from the stack.
Okay, so who's looking? Who keeps asking about love? Who's projecting for love? Because somebody out there.
Well, somebody now she's up my alley.
Yeah, true love, Guinevere. The romantic stirring in your heart have propelled the universe to deliver great love to you. So someone out there has been either wanting to stir up, entice, enhance their current love life, or spice things up with either their current lover or find a new lover. Well, Guinevere is around to say, go for it. Now is the time. Light a red candle.
And she's all about being open-hearted to new experiences. Admit that you don't fully understand what's always in front of you. SG, me. Be curious, be teachable. She will not fall prey to unconscious commitments, dangerous alliances. Every experience has value. So Mary Hubble saying yes, Isis.
Yeah. Woo!
So SG, did you pull Isis?
Can't make this shit up, people. Cannot make this. She just literally flew out of the deck. Okay.
Well, I guess she's gonna be our guest star. Nope, I got Mama Kocha water. I'm really bad. It's almost shameful how bad I speak English.
And SG said me for Guinevere. And
I'm all about Guinevere. I'm all about
too.
Guinevere.
Yoon said I'm manifesting yesterday tonight too.
Yes, Lionsgate portal. Get your manifest on. Super powerful energy tonight. According to my third cousin's 12 times removed, I was executed at the Salem witch trials. Join the club, Sharp Lisa. All of us witches were burned at the stake. She's trying to escape. She was out of here. Jonathan said Isis is trying to run away.
And then Isolette, undying love. The love you have shared is eternal regardless of the situation. So 2 goddesses of love came forth.
And one to be open-hearted.
And then Isis had to fly out to say, yes, you're talking about me next week. So we got Isis for next week. She is the goddess of the hour for next week. She's my goddess all the time, but she'll be the goddess of the hour for next week. And then we had Guinevere and Isolette for true love and undying love. So may your love forever undying love.
Everyone's going off to do their lion portal rituals now.
Yay! Well, blessed be
everyone. Thank you so much for everyone that's here tonight. Remember, hit the like button, all that good stuff.
Like, share.
Much love.
Like our other pages, please. Please.
We're also live on our Facebook page.
Like, follow our other pages as well. Help us build the community in more ways than one. It would be so helpful.
All right, my friends. Till next time.
Much love. Bye.